Hello and welcome back to the Pit and Paddock Racing Show with Dan and Rand. We're going to start off with NASCAR and the Goodyear 400 at Darlington. Brad Keselowski finally breaks through after a 110 race winless streak.
And Ford finally scores because they've been wingman for so long. They never score.
They did finally get up there, and there were 5 Fords in the top 10 this race.
How do you go from you can't even get close to the front till you get half of the top 10? Like, what was it about Darlington that was so good for Ford?
Darlington's a lot on the driver, like more than most other tracks. I think that's most of the reason.
Is it me, or does Jeff Burton waving the flag look like Tim Cook from Apple?
He was that at a Formula One race when Tim Cook waved? Did you see that? And he waved it like an NPC, just like up and down straight.
Oh yeah, he didn't do any.
No, he looked like a robot.
Yeah. That might have been not Monaco. Maybe it was Monaco. Anyway, yeah,
right.
He just looked like Tim Cook. He's got the same white hair now, and he doesn't move so well.
The race, first couple stages, started off fairly average, nothing too exciting, and then the last 40 laps, it kind of kicked into high gear. There was a great battle between Chris Buescher and Reddick, back and forth, and then with 10 to go, Reddick kind of took a rough line there and got up into Buescher, which eventually led to both of their tires blowing.
Who did the bump draft on his boss?
Oh, that was Buescher helping out Brad early.
That's right. Buescher hit Keselowski. I'm like, you bump draft on a mile-and-a-half track?
I guess they do. And then Reddick kind of went for it there and washed up into Buescher. Man, Buescher was pissed.
Oh, well, it's the end of the race. It all started when Buescher slammed into Keselowski and everything got a little loopy.
They were going pretty hard.
It was a great three-way battle.
Yeah. Well, it worked out for Brad there with the two of them dropping out. And then post-race, Buescher rushes down to Tyler Reddick's car and gives him a stern talking to, which I think Reddick was wise to leave his helmet on for that conversation.
Buescher thought he was going to win.
Buescher started, he's like, "Do you know what you did, Yuka?" And Reddick just like, "Yeah, it was totally my fault." And Buescher really didn't know how to come back at him with that. He was like, "Yes, it was your fault."
I like the old days when the entire pit crew would go down to beat up the other pit crew because they just lost like $10,000 in bonus money.
The NASCAR security down there is kind of like a hockey ref. They'll let you get some pushing and shoving in, but once like a pit crew guy or somebody takes a swing, they tend to step in.
I don't know. I'm not going to try and pull the tire changer guy off of another tire changer guy. Those dudes are pretty big.
They should keep it like hockey. The pit crews fight each other, and then the drivers fight each other.
Yeah. Right. I'm sensing we could have a whole new form of entertainment here.
Winner gets like some sort of a 2-point bonus, something like that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty exciting, and also that was good news for Ty Gibbs and Josh Berry, who moved up into the top 5. Ty Gibbs is going to be pretty close to a win here soon.
So it seems like if you're going to score points, you want to have a car built for mile-and-a-half tracks.
Probably. That's the majority of the schedule. The 1.5 to 2 mile.
So it was looking like the only place Ford could threaten was on the long tracks, the super speedways, is where they tended to do well. But I mean, that's what 10% of the tracks, if that.
What they only have six of those races a year on the big super speedways.
Out of 600 NASCAR races a year?
Yes.
What do they have now? Is it Is it
30, 34,
Is it 34?
35?
Okay.
A lot.
So
And
I
Yeah.
don't want to do math. What's 6 divided by 34? 3 would be, that's 20%? No, that can't be 20%.
no,
2%? No.
5, 6. Well,
I
let's.
said I don't want to do math.
Yeah, let's not. So a percentage.
Yeah.
Short tracks and road courses are probably, let's say 5, maybe 9, 10 of those races.
Okay.
So you're going to want to be good on the 1.5 mile tracks overall.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Did you see Michael McDowell had the Long John Silver's car this weekend, but they did the throwback, and that logo is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen, with that like old cartoon pirate and a parrot on his shoulder.
Yeah, it's like creepy coloring book, Long John Silver.
I don't know. I picture it in nightmares.
How do they decide who gets the Long John Silver? It just seems to bounce around.
That team, him and Gilliland, seem to like switch back and forth here and there. I don't know what their plan is.
I thought I saw a lot of empty seats down low, which after my experience at Phoenix sitting in the low seats, I can understand why. But NASCAR used to just pack in every race.
They used to, yeah. Now they got a lot of. They widened the seats up, made it bigger instead of to get rid of some seats, made it more comfortable.
Oh yes, I bet some of those tracks, especially the old ones, were pretty tight, where you had bleachers with a number painted on it.
Darlington is old too. Like that might be too dangerous down there for the close seats, also. Or they'll put up the billboards over the seats when they can't sell them.
Now they paint all seats different colors, so when it flashes by on TV, it looks like there's people there.
I noticed that. They do that at any time they renovate now. It's all different colored seats. Let's see. Oh, NASCAR. I saw next year they're starting an in-season tournament for the TNT races, where the drivers get seeded into a 1 through 32, and then they go head-to-head in a NCAA tournament style bracket until the last race, where the winner gets $1 million. It seems like an interesting idea, and everyone likes filling out brackets, and could be good for gambling. I don't know.
Sounds like European soccer, where they have like 2 tournaments in the middle of the season.
Yes, there's a lot of that.
That's why NHL doesn't like the Olympics, because it's in the middle of their season, and then their guys can get hurt, so they don't like playing in extra tournaments. But soccer does it.
Yeah, they do multiple. You got your Champions League, your European League, all the other local trophy cups and everything.
We could have won it without the USA League.
Yeah, well, most of them. Well, next year, the NASCAR schedule, a couple of leaks have gotten out that Mexico City is going to be replacing Richmond. I'm guessing they're going to run at the Formula One track.
That would be fun.
So the
one that goes through the stadium.
Yeah, I don't know what setup they would use, but I don't know if they could fill that stadium up like Formula One does. But it could be an interesting race.
Are they leaks like somebody couldn't stand keeping a secret, or are they like White House leaks?
Probably like White House leaks, or probably like, let's get a couple of this out there and float it around and see how people feel about it leaks type of thing.
Kind of a poll leak.
The Clash is moving from the LA Coliseum to Bowman Gray Stadium in North Carolina. That is about I think it's a little over a quarter-mile short track inside of a football stadium.
The LA Stadium, the Coliseum one?
Yeah.
At USC?
Yeah.
That one's, aren't they renovating that right now?
Or
are they just talking about renovating it again?
I feel like they always renovate it.
Seems like it's been renovated, or talked about and renovated quite a lot.
When was it built? The 30s? Well, anyways, attendance was down last year, and I think the Clash ran its course there. And then Phoenix is getting the championship race yet again.
That's a good idea. Phoenix is nice in late November.
It is nice, and it's good for me because it's close. but not great for exciting racing in the championship.
Oh, they still haven't figured out a car that runs interesting at Phoenix? You know what runs good? A car that you really have to work the throttle.
So more horsepower?
Yeah.
I think everyone else agrees with that.
Yeah.
And then the Coke 600 next year is going to be on Amazon Prime starting.
Is that the one on Memorial Day?
Yeah, after Indy.
And they're going to switch to... Well, who has it now? Is it Fox or
Fox.
NBC?
Fox has it now, and Amazon Prime is getting it, which is interesting. I would hope maybe they cut back on commercials.
Yeah, because you're paying for Amazon Prime. I don't want to watch commercials.
No, nobody does.
Well, my man Gilligan finished a slightly better than average 15th win with the generator livery. Generator spelled with an 8.
So many exciting options. He could have had Creepy Pirate Man, but nope, going with Generator again.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many cool throwback liveries that he could have done and still worked in the sponsor.
I think it's best when they get the actual sponsor, but that is rare.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't get the Coors card. Wait, they didn't make that illegal in the U.S., did they?
No, you could still do beer.
And cigarettes?
Not cigarettes.
Oh. I know they made... Oh, that's right, because that's why the IndyCar Cool team lost their sponsorship. Paul Tracy?
Yeah, Penske had the Marlboro forever. Remember when Ferrari had, like...
Marlboro?
They had Marlboro along, and then it switched to, like, Mission Winnow, and it was, like, kind of trying to sneak past.
Oh, they would make it upside down and...
Yeah, Benson and Hedges would always do something like that, too.
Oh, yeah, Honda had Lucky Strike. Yeah, they would, like,
Or
90%
it said, like, look-alike on the back or something. They would always, like, so it sounds similar, but it's not.
Now they have banks and drug companies. Like, that's better than cigarettes.
There's even a fresh, good bit of crypto
Next
exchanges.
thing you know, they're going to be having lawyers on them.
Oh, God. Well, speaking of Throwback Weekend, I put together a top 10 list because apparently that's what people do, is make lists. So at number 10, we've got, my pick was Chase Elliott and the Dale Jr. Throwback. National Guard, I think. Also at 10, Alex Bowman with the Jimmy Johnson Throwback with Ally instead of Lowe's. That was lame.
Anytime I hear Jimmy Johnson, I see that Lowe's cardboard sign of him they would put in the store where he's like leering around a corner or something.
I remember that commercial. Like he would just like creep around the edge.
Creepy pervert Jimmy Johnson.
I remember one where he would say there was a boom confetti, and every time, and he would shoot confetti out of the top of the cardboard thing.
It's a reason that advertising companies don't last long.
They used to have good commercials. Also at number 10. Kaz Gralla had a throwback to Parnelli Jones' 1969 Mustang.
I was trying to figure out what that was.
I liked that one because it had the number with the circle, and it looked it did a good job of looking old.
That looks pretty 60s. Is his name really Kaz Gralla?
That's what he says his name is.
That sounds like a Star Wars character.
It really does. I believe I've played him in a video game.
If you switch the first letters around from the first and last name, it sounds like a Star Wars character. Like, you know, instead of Alex Bowman, it's Balix Auman.
Maybe it doesn't always work.
Yeah, that one doesn't work. So.
Where are we?
Harrison Hurton. No.
Number 9 is Sheldon Creed with the Ivan Stewart off-road Toyota. That was the Xfinity car. That one looks cool. I like that 80s Toyota color scheme on the off-road cars.
Wait, why did Haas had a 00 car with tiger stripes on it? I have no idea where that came from.
I remember that car in the 90s in Xfinity series. I just remember a tiger striped car. I don't know what it was or who ran it.
Was it called Busch Series back then?
Yes. It should still be called that.
I thought 00 was bad luck in race cars.
Haas has always had a 00.
Well, that explains it then.
Yeah, that's true. Number 8, Harrison Burton with the 1939 Wood Brothers Ford. That was cool just because it was painted old-timey. Leland Honeyman had the number 42 Kyle Petty Mellow Yellow throwback.
Oh, I used to love me some Mellow Yellow.
What got me on that one was not the actual car, it looked good, but he did a headshot, like one of those like autograph cards with a long flowing wig and a mustache, like Kyle Petty had at the time.
Oh, nice. You know, Mellow Yellow Coke stopped sending it west after when the pandemic hit. Like, you couldn't get Mellow Yellow west of the Mississippi.
Did they?
Yeah.
It always used to be at the gas station, I remember.
Yeah, well, like Arby's had it on Fountain, but you couldn't find it anywhere. And then I would go back east for something, and they would have Mellow Yellow, and I would get really excited. But then I quit drinking Mellow Yellow.
That's too. Yeah.
Unless they want to give us a sponsorship, then I'll start drinking Mellow Yellow again.
I'll wear a hat. We had Ryan Ellis in Xfinity, the Days of Thunder car. That one's always classic.
Everybody loves the Days of Thunder car. We're having an ice cream. You can't pit.
That's a great movie. Somebody had a Hardee's truck too, but it wasn't Hardee's.
Is that the number one movie on race car movies? Days of Thunder? Is that the top of most people's list?
That one. I like Talladega Nights because it's funny, but it's not really a.
Yeah, it's a satire.
More making fun of the whole thing.
Yeah. What was not Driven? That was kind of lame. You know what?
Rush was good.
Rush was pretty good, and the old Grand Prix one was not bad for, given its time.
Yeah, that was good. They had great footage. They put those giant cameras on the cars and drove them around.
Yeah.
Ford versus Ferrari was good.
Ford versus Ferrari was actually pretty good.
Where are we down to? Number 5, Brad Keselowski, the winning car. He had a Supra, Toyota Supra from 1997, that livery, but I just remember it because it was your first car in Gran Turismo 4. That's why I like that one. Bill Byron had the Jeff Gordon Flames. I always liked the Flames.
Did they call the pit crew the Rainbow Warriors?
I think they switched that when they lost the rainbow colors. Maybe were they the Flamers then? Is that what they called them?
The Flamers.
I don't think they called them the Flamers. Never mind.
The whole rainbow thing kind of fell out of fashion.
It did. Number 3, Daniel Suarez did an Adrian Fernandez Quaker State throwback from kart. That was pretty cool. Number 2, Brennan Poole had the number 44 Hot Wheels car throwback.
That was my number 1 car.
That was probably my favorite paint scheme from way back.
It had the orange track painted on the side.
And I like when sponsors attempt to blend in, and they'll change their font and logo to make it match. So that's pretty sporting of them.
Yeah.
And my number 1 is the Kyle Larson Terry Labonte throwback. That one was almost spot on.
Except there was no Kellogg's Rooster. And you can't do a Kellogg's throwback and not have the Kellogg's Rooster.
I wish they could have had the rooster.
They did the font. It almost looked like Kellogg. If you didn't, if it went by fast, you might think it said Kellogg, but it didn't. It said Hendrix.
They should have come up with some sort of green-looking logo and just throw
anything. They could, I don't know, throw up a pig or a sloth or a frog, Kermit the Frog kind of frog. That would be good. I want to call out the number 54 Gibbs with the He Gets Us livery for still not saying God or Jesus anywhere.
Maybe it's the woke Jesus from the Babylonian Bee.
That I did watch the woke Jesus. That was pretty fun. Maybe some Old Testament God names like El Shaddai or Elohim or one of those.
That would probably go better.
Yeah,
it sounds cooler.
It does sound pretty cool. You just put anything after El, because El means God, and I don't know, like Akkadian, or what was the language of the New Testament? Aramaic? I don't know. It might be Canaanite.
It wasn't written in English? Oh no.
I think it's like a Canaanite word. El just means God, so El Shaddai is like God Almighty, which my father used to say when he got upset sometimes.
Oh no. So coming up next week in NASCAR, we've got the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro.
That sounds like a Civil War battlefield site.
Oh, that's the Clash at Bull Run.
Oh. Are they having it at Bull Run?
No.
Wait, Bull Run's in Is it in Pennsylvania? Or no, that was Gettysburg.
Manassas, Virginia? Is that where
Virginia, like between Virginia and Maryland? Is that where Bull Run was? Okay.
I think so.
Do they have a race in Maryland?
No.
Virginia?
Virginia, yes.
Okay. They could just call that one the Bull Run.
That would be more fun.
Or wait, no. The North called it Bull Run. The South called it Manassas, right?
Yes.
Okay. The South always used cities, and the North used... they made up words or something. I don't know.
So the All-Star race, a little different format. They're going to run 2 laps in qualifying with a 4-tire pit stop in the middle of them, which is kind of interesting to include the pit crew into the qualifying. That's fun.
That sounds fair.
Yeah, I like the idea. Saturday, 2 60-lap heat races to determine the starting order after determining the starting order in the heat races with qualifying.
So the qualifying's for the heat races.
You qualify for the heat races, which then set the rest of the races.
Oh, like dirt track racing.
That's pretty much what they do, because then they're going to run a 100-lap last chance qualifier Sunday before the race.
Feels like sprint cars.
And then the 200-lap main afterwards. And
that's almost 400 laps.
Yep. What's the track? Half-mile track. Yeah. So, and the thing to look out for is how the option tires work, and if that will help the racing improve at short tracks in the future.
We're doing the option tires.
We're doing the option tires.
I like the option tires.
I think that'll make it a little more interesting.
Are they different colors, like IndyCar and Formula One?
Soft. Reds are the soft ones, and then the yellow are the normal tires.
What's the damp tire? Is it blue?
I think they're blue.
So it kind of mostly blends in with... Well, IndyCar, the regular tire is white, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the soft tire's red.
Yes.
And in Formula One, soft is red. I don't know. Yellow is medium and white is hard.
Yellow. Yeah. Well, yes.
And then green is intermediate wet and blue is full wet.
Full wet.
Yeah. They have a lot more options in Formula One.
Yes.
I'd like to see 2 different options of tire in NASCAR. That might help.
I think that would make it a lot more interesting.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to IndyCar, where Alex Palou,
Palou.
I'm going to call him Caillou.
Caillou.
Caillou wins the Indy Grand Prix after losing. He had the he had the pole, but he lost first on the opening lap. But then reclaimed first through some crafty pit strategy. It was a decent race, not super exciting, but it's said that the Indy Grand Prix track is a lot like European road courses.
That's what they were saying that a lot. I like that track. It's pretty racy. You can get passes there. I think it's a little more fun with a dash of rain thrown in the middle of the race.
It's always a little more fun with a dash of rain.
One of my favorite things is the Santucci versus Grosjean's battle that looks like it's going to be hanging around for a while.
You know what? That would be even better if they were near the front somewhere. But I did enjoy all the shoving in the first stint. It felt pretty old school.
Kind of carried on from Barber, a lot of contact.
Nothing wrong with that. Herta actually did pretty well. He ran out of fuel in qualifying and had to start 24th. And then he gets shoved into the gravel by his teammate at the race start. And then he manages to make it up to P7, so that's pretty good.
He was not happy with Marcus.
Oh no. He said, I'm gonna let him know how I feel, or
yeah, he was leading the points, wasn't he, before the race started?
He was leading the point. Well, yeah, but you know, when you qualify 24th, you can't complain too much. But did Ericsson was he racing him hard, or did he just screw up and go into the corner too fast?
That seems early to start pushing your teammates off course. I would guess it's an accident, but unless he ignored him in the driver's meeting or something, so he was mad at him.
Possibly.
Speaking of very lucky, actually unlucky, Graham Rahal once again lost an engine in practice, and then in qualifying, his clutch went out.
Oh, is that why he was so pissed at the end of qualifying?
Yes.
I was sure that he was going to become Graham the Unlucky after that first turn mashup, but he held on to 9th, and made his way up to 6th for a while.
Only to fall back to 9th.
Yeah. When your teammate qualifies 2nd and finishes 3rd, and 9th is your best finish of the season, is it time to give up your seat to a competitive driver?
Oh, it's not, Graham hasn't really put the numbers up these last few years.
He's not a spring chicken anymore.
Usually I would think, man, he's a good veteran, he'll be good at Indy, but last year that didn't come true.
Oh, Team Rahal could not get their car dialed in last year. I don't know. His dad owns the team, so he's probably a little bit like Lance Stroll, except more competitive than Lance Stroll.
He was a good driver.
Yeah,
he has wins.
I don't want to talk bad about Rahal because he was our favorite, but I wonder if it's time to become more of a team owner and not so much a driver.
I bet we'll start looking at hearing a little bit about that towards the end of the year. Maybe he shows up for Indy for the next few years, kind of like Marco.
Marco Andretti. Marco seemed to bow out pretty early as far as age.
Kind of. But he really wasn't accomplishing a whole lot since his early... He had like a win or two early on and just kind of hanging around.
Yeah, he didn't have his grandfather's greatness, or even his father's greatness. It just kind of diminishes as they go down. Scott Dixon, though, went from P6 to P4. Dixon always finds a way.
He's always there. I'm concerned he's unlocked the ability to use magic.
Oh, yeah. The stuff he pulls out. Dixon would be like a level 80 wizard or a paladin.
I wonder what his fuel saving spell is, because it's a miracle.
I was gonna say fire mage, but no. What would you call a magic user that can make things last?
I don't know. I'm down on my D&D terms.
What did you call the one character that did the backstab and had lots of knives? It was like a really fast DPS character. Like
a thief
was it thief or rogue?
Rogue?
Yeah, it was rogue. That's right. Yeah, no, I don't think rogue. I think wind mage. I don't know if that's a thing in D&D, but again, I thought the crowd was kind of slim, especially for Indianolas. What do you call them?
Indianites.
Indian whatever.
Indians?
People from Indiana.
Native Americans? No.
Not that kind of Indian. Indiana Knights. Okay. So anyway, there's some new liveries for the Indy 500 that we get to see in practice. I like Santino Ferrucci's big American flag of a race car livery. That actually looks pretty cool.
That might be my favorite so far. Have you heard that Kyle Larson is running the Indy 500? Breaking news.
Yeah.
But he's really changing up the liveries with a HendrickCars.com sponsorship, just like in NASCAR.
So his team owner actually sponsored him to race in Indy 500.
Yes.
Usually the team owner is begging him not NASCAR drivers not to go do the Indy 500. But...
Yeah, they used to hold him back for a long time. Now they hopefully it opens it up more and we can get more drivers going back and forth.
Maybe Hendricks wants to put an IndyCar team together.
That would be interesting.
I kind of like the McLaughlin's Pennzoil livery, which was... Who had the Pennzoil? Was it Gordon Johncock or Mears? Rick Mears.
Was it before the Marlboro Rick Mears?
Yeah, who had the all-yellow car? I'm thinking that was...
Oh, I think it was Gordon. It was Johncock.
Was it Johncock?
Was it the yellow submarine? What they called it?
That one looked pretty cool.
I think they always bring that back for Indy, and that's one of my favorites. I think we've also got Palou and DHL are pandering to the Alphabet Plus crowd this weekend.
Did they put rainbows on the car?
Yes.
They did that last year, didn't they? Is it DHL?
Yeah, DHL.
Yeah, they had a lot of rainbow on it. Takuma Sato, he's coming back. I'm not really sure what he's repping. It's like Amada. What's Amada?
Nothing. What's Amada with you?
That's cringy. You're only allowed to say that line if you're singing the Hakuna Matata song.
It's too easy.
I know.
It was too easy.
How about Newgarden? Is he He's going to have a cheater.com livery.
Oh, well, maybe he can advertise some open coding positions at Penske.
For the rest of his life, he's going to be the cheater. There's no way he didn't know about that.
But
There's just no way.
But he cried he almost cried in the press conference.
Because he almost ruined his entire career. There's no way that you don't realize that you suddenly can use push to pass on restarts when you could never do it before, and you're going past everybody. There's just no way you don't know about that.
Should have taken it like a NASCAR driver. Like, yeah, we were trying to win. Guess it didn't work out. Well,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, we thought it would work.
Who else do we have? I believe. Oh, I saw Graham Rahal has switched to a orange and blue livery for the 500 in hopes of stealing some of Scott Dixon's luck.
He needs luck after last year when he got knocked out of qualifying.
Take anything.
It was bump day, right?
Yeah.
What? How come there's not an He Gets Us livery in IndyCar?
The best we can do is pray.com from Stingray Rob.
Oh, is he gonna do this pray.com? I didn't really see his car.
He's done it all year, so
Okay.
I only can assume.
Who's funding that car? Is it the same people, maybe? Pray.com versus HeGetsUs.com? I don't know if it's a .com.
I don't know. I don't know who funds.
Dixon's car just looks like another McLaren. What's with all the orange everywhere?
I don't know. I'm calling for a full ban on orange and pink liveries from now on. It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, with Verstappen, we've got more orange than we ever wanted in our lifetime.
Oh, man.
Well, in other Indy news, Penske's closer. I'm talking about the Roger Penske, owner of IndyCar now. He's closer to getting a charter approved by the teams after he dropped the team fee, at least for the top 10 teams. They don't have to pay a fee. And he got rid of the guaranteed Indy 500 start for charter teams. So if you're on the charter, you get a position in the Indy 500 even if you suck.
So that's in there that they're going to get?
No, he took that out.
Oh,
the
okay.
teams didn't like that, surprisingly.
I thought the teams want... Oh, it's the teams that are in the back that like that idea.
It's kind of like when Europe tried to create the Super Soccer League with all the really good teams in one league.
Oh, whenever nobody likes that.
Oh, the fans did not like that at all. That didn't last long.
Well, we'll see how this charter thing ends up. I don't know how I feel about it.
Didn't they have a charter way back when it was kart? They had a charter system, and then it went away when Tony George destroyed the sport.
I don't remember. I just know that NASCAR switched over to it, and I mean it works for the team owners because they're selling charters for like $30+ million.
Yeah.
I don't know. See how it works out.
Unless you're American trying to get a Formula One team.
Oh, no, we don't. That's not what we do. The hybrid is set to debut at the Mid-Ohio race, I think July 7th.
It's kind of weird to have a completely new engine in the middle of the season.
Isn't it? Like you've gone the full season, and then suddenly, hey, we're just going to completely change up the mechanics of the car right now. Go.
That doesn't feel like a good idea.
No. Why not push it to the next year? Well, I mean, they've already pushed it back like 4 years now. So
yeah, I mean, it feels like you're just following Formula One at this point just to do it.
Following them at, 12 years behind.
Well, the whole idea with race cars is you're developing technology to be used in passenger cars, but passenger cars have been hybrid for like 20 years.
Yeah, I probably the engine manufacturers that are looking for that.
Well, next up for Indy 500 practice from the 14th through the 17th, all day on Peacock. Even includes free extended coverage of rainfall.
I was watching a bit of that today. I'm like, let's get some practice in while I'm working, and it's raining and it's over already. Great.
It's good if you want a nap.
And then we have this weekend Indy 500 qualifying on Saturday and Sunday. I could explain the whole system, but nobody actually even knows what it is.
We need Sam from F1 TV to explain the qualifying system.
I'm going to need multiple charts, graphs, diagrams, and circles to let me know.
We get Ross Perot. He could do it.
Not going to do it. Wouldn't. That's Dana
this,
Carvey doing Ross Perot.
Not at this juncture. Oh wait, no, that was George.
George Bush. Yeah.
How do you have qualifying last 2 days, and how do you have it last as long as they do for Indy?
So it's pretty much unlimited. They always start out Saturday. You can run as much as you want, and they take your fast time. So and then they'll just have practice if no one wants to run. I always enjoyed it. Like if I'm not doing anything, have it on in the background all day.
So Sunday is bump day, right? They set the field on Saturday.
Well, Saturday they set everything but the last row and the top 12. That's set. And then Sunday they'll do the fast 12 down to 6. And then they'll do the final row, bumping. And then at the end of the day, it's the top 6 that go for the pole, is what I believe the system is.
There's only one extra car this year, so only one car is going to get bumped.
Yeah.
And I do like the whole, you set a time, and if you want to set another time, you wipe your good time. So there's some risk involved.
Are they still doing that? I like that. Or they had the 2 lines. They had the safe line, and they had the wipe your time and go out immediately.
Yeah.
Is what I think that makes it pretty interesting.
Yeah, at least, there's some risk there. You have to really think you can do a better time. Of course, if you're getting bumped, then you're ready to try it again.
Right.
Oh well, that was like the most drama of qualifying was those like last 5 minutes of qualifying when there's 6 cars lined up trying to do one more lap.
It kind of helped that it was Graham Rahal and not some guy who's out there for a one-off that you've never heard of not making the race.
Like some doctor of chiropractic that always wanted to race in the Indy 500 and made a lot of money.
It's not the IRL anymore. You don't have that. And moving on to the exciting world of Formula One after a weekend of not racing. Reports were in that revenue was up first quarter 45% over last year, which isn't enough money for Formula One, so expect more $200 nachos soon.
45% is incredible. You know how many CEOs would kill for half of that?
More.
How do you get up your revenue up 45% over last year after the crap racing that we had last year? Well, maybe that's it. Yet last year was such crap racing that this year's bound to be better.
Oh, maybe.
Well, all right, I want to see what it is up over 2 years ago when there was actually some competition between Ferrari and Red Bull.
It's probably up over that even.
Yeah, well, 25% just to keep up with inflation.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Congress. Well, Ferrari is bringing an 8-point upgrade package to the Italian race this weekend. F1 Uber nerds are poring over the tiny tweaks to the body and all the little bits and bobs that they put on there.
I can confirm I did a thorough review of pictures and schematics, and I can say that something has changed on the car.
It's crazy. They just spent $10 million to get 2 eye blinks faster on a lap.
That is efficient use of money. Red Bull is also bringing some upgrades, so the pecking order may end up back where we were 2 races ago.
Exactly. It's like a European arms race, but without the death toll.
That's no fun.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed was the overbite or the shark nose inlet radiator. So they just stole another piece of Red Bull.
Yes. Has Red Bull not brought any upgrades yet?
I don't think they've had any upgrades yet. Or they've been just a couple little ones.
So this will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm thinking it would be nice if, because McLaren caught up to Red Bull in Miami with all their new upgrades. But when Red Bull brings upgrades, they may just jump ahead. Who knows?
Oops.
Which, speaking of, Ferrari and McLaren are pretty close to Red Bull's pace, but where is Mercedes? I mean, they have utterly failed with this formula.
They've actually gotten worse since the beginning of the formula when they were terrible.
Yeah. Oh, when they came out with the zero side pod thing
Yeah.
that didn't work.
The bouncy car.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I don't know at this point. Is it just like wash out till the next formula?
Oh, I think so. I mean, again, it's the aero. This is an aero formula, whereas the last formula was a lot about engine, and they're really good at engine and not so good at aero because they don't have Adrian Newey. But I would look for Mercedes to bounce back in 26 with the new formula.
I'm sure they're already on top of that. Did anyone bother to tell Ferrari that just adding HP stickers to the car doesn't actually increase horsepower?
It doesn't even look good. Like red and powder blue. That any woman will tell you that that's a bad idea. But the Ferraris are a little bit underpowered compared to the Honda. What they really need is the 2019 motor, the one that they had to ditch halfway through the season because it broke some rules.
That's right. I still don't know what was wrong with that motor, but it was faster than the Merc, I think.
Yeah, it was faster than everything. Well, Honda was really awful then. That was the year that Red Bull, and then Red Bull switched from Renault to Honda.
Yeah,
they were awful. They were awful, but I don't know. We never did find out. I did a lot of research trying to figure out what rule did they break, and it still hasn't leaked out after all these years. Ferrari ended up making some sort of settlement with the FIA for the rule breaking, and it tuned their engine down to the point that they've ended up finishing like 6th in the points, and it kept anyone from knowing what the issue was.
How did that get agreed upon? What if the other team's like, well, what did you do? How does Formula One agree to that?
Yeah, I'm thinking that the rule breaking wasn't clear enough because they didn't take it to the international court like they would usually do. They did a settlement. So it had to be that it wasn't clear enough, but we all know you're breaking the rules, so either stop it or else. The only thing I remember was that engine used to burn a lot of oil when they would start it up in the garage or the paddock. You would see a lot of oil coming out. I saw some speculation that they were also burning oil, not just gasoline. And it was somehow giving them more power. I don't know. I'm not enough of a mechanical engineer to figure that one out. But yeah, one day we'll know what happened to that motor.
That's not like Formula One to have shady backroom deals like that.
Yeah, it's very European of them.
Yeah.
Also in Ferrari, they hired 2 new engineers from Mercedes that no one except the F1 uber nerds have ever heard of. Sarah and D'Ambrosio. It's said that it's a really big coup to land these guys from Mercedes.
I'm going to agree.
Yeah, but I don't really know what they do except design mechanical things.
I'm sure they're top of the line at engineering things.
I'm hearing rumors about Vasseur, the new Ferrari team principal, and he's putting together a team that is going to challenge when they had, back in the Schumacher years.
Ooh. Oh, so he's walking around like recruiting from other Formula One teams?
Yes. Everybody seems to like this guy, so he's, easy to wine and dine people over.
I like him. Is he just, like Nick Fury showing up in the shadows? I'm putting together a team.
I don't want to join your boy band. Iron Man was pretty funny. I told you, Fury, I don't want to join your boy band. That might be the best Marvel line in all of Marvel comics.
The early ones were good.
Yeah.
I saw some pictures of Ferrari testing last week, and they had some sort of... They said it was a spray guard, but it covered the tire. Did you see?
Yeah. They're like the ones that look like 1950s fender skirts?
Yes.
Yeah. They tested like 3 different versions to see which ones... But most of them looking at them going, how do you change the tire?
Yeah, that's what, it covers most of it. How do you get to the tire to change it in, 2 seconds? Is the spray, it's supposed to keep the spray down,
so you can see when you're behind the other car. But then doesn't it put a whole lot of water on the track in front of the other car?
It just keeps the water on the track.
Yeah, because those cars can channel a lot of water out, and a lot of it gets shot up into the air. But those drivers, they memorize the track anyway. They can almost drive it with eyes closed. So I just don't know if it's that big of a deal.
Or maybe they're just looking for more sponsor space.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do need some more space.
I saw that Gunther Steiner and Haas are now suing each other for some stupid reasons. I had a bunch of Haas drama. I don't know what the deal is there.
I didn't know they were Hebrews. You might want to cut that one. Yeah. Hey,
more in the ancient sense?
Yeah. Yeah, like they're suing each other because Haas says Steiner didn't have permission to write a book or something and used the Haas name, and Steiner says you didn't pay me for my stuff. Anyway.
Oh.
You know what? Nobody gets rich but the lawyers in those deals.
Yeah. Come on.
Well, coming up this weekend, we do have the Formula One MSC Cruises Grand Premio del Made in Italy.
You know what?
Imola.
We'll go with Imola.
Yeah.
Let's just call it Imola.
Yeah. Why did they have to come up with a 26-word title all of a sudden?
I don't know. It's very Italian.
It's not Spanish. Wait, doesn't Spanish have the most words per sentence? They're pretty close to Italy.
Yeah.
All right, Imola. We'll just stick with Imola.
Imola.
Wait, so it's not the Italian Grand Prix. The Italian Grand Prix
That's Monza.
is Monza. So why does Italy get two?
Because Ferrari's there, I guess.
Yeah.
They like Ferrari.
Yeah.
They didn't have two until COVID, and then they moved one back to Imola, and they just kind of kept it there.
And they didn't even have that last year because there was flooding.
Oh, that's right.
There was no Imola.
That was bad flooding.
Or else Verstappen would have had even more points. Okay. On to other. Do you have anything for other?
I did see a little bit of the World Endurance Championship. They had their first win by a privateer in the hypercar era. Team Joda? Is it Joda?
Joda? J-O-T-A?
J-O-T-A?
Yeah. I like the term privateer. It kind of sounds like you're attacking Spanish ships for the Queen of England. It's a cool word. Do they use that in any other sports?
I've heard it in MotoGP.
And Dakar. You hear it in Dakar?
Dakar. I mostly think of the old ships, pirating Spanish.
Like you're gonna see Sir Francis Drake out there in an endurance car.
Yes, but that's probably because I played Civilization too much.
I liked Civilization. That was one of the best games. The last one got too complex though.
Oh, yeah.
It was always a fun game because it was complex, but then the last one got so complex that I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing? Yeah.
That's how they all do that.
Yeah. Well, in WRC, that's World Rally Cars or World Rally Championship?
World Rally Championship.
Oh, so in World Rally Championship, Toyota's Ogier wins in Portugal and gets rewarded with the Legion of Honor by the French president because the French don't have many things to cheer for lately.
I don't know. Napoleon would have given him, a tract of land in Egypt, I bet.
Yeah. Someone needs to remind the French they don't have a Portuguese colony anymore because colonialism is really out of fashion, especially in universities. Yeah, what does France have to celebrate? Not Alpine. Do they have any? Are there any French motor racing teams that are doing good?
Alpines, I think they do well in endurance racing.
With the sandbags or without the? Do they get sandbagged or do they not get sandbagged?
I don't think they're getting sandbagged.
Only Ferrari gets and Cadillac gets sandbagged.
Yeah.
I still can't believe they really sandbag the cars to make. Oh, you're too fast. You get more weight.
Well, we can't have Max Verstappen wins in endurance racing.
Well, they could do that in Formula One. Oh, you're too far ahead on the points. You have to add more weight to your car.
Well, maybe they could do that. You get a win and you put in 10 kilograms or something.
They have to add weight to Yuki Tsunoda's car, don't they, to get up to the minimum?
Yes, at least 200 pounds, probably.
How many stone is that?
2? I have no idea what stone.
I think is it 15?
Oh, yeah. It's
Wait, what's a score is 20. A stone. I'm thinking a stone is 15 pounds. I don't know. I always hear those drivers talk. How many kilos are you? And I'm like, I don't know. Like 1 kilo is quite a bit. You can buy a house with that. I don't know about kilos. I don't know. I can't believe the world has still not come back to the English non-metric system. How do we rule the world and nobody else uses our system?
We're going to have to enforce it with violence.
This is, yes. This is Pax Americana, damn it. Or wait, you gotta do it like, Millet. Who's the Argentina president? Millet?
Yeah.
Millet. This is the Pax Americana, damn it! Except when he talked to Davos, the translator messed it up and went something like, and that's how we're gonna do it. Damn it. Like he completely screwed up the inflection. Millet didn't care because he doesn't really care what other people think that much.
No.
I do like a guy that campaigns with a chainsaw, though. That's just cool.
We need more of that.
Well, that's it for this week's show. What's our show called? Pit and Paddock. That's it for this week's show. Pit and Paddock show.
That's the one. That's what we're doing.
I think right. This is not the other show, right? This is Pit and Paddock.
Yes.
Okay. That's it for this week of Pit and Paddock. Stay tuned. Next week we're gonna have 2 races and some practice.
Yes. Or some rain.
Yeah, NASCAR, which is every week, even Mother's Day and Easter NASCAR, and Formula One. But for IndyCar, it's just practice and qualifying, which might be kind of interesting.